Welcome viewer to the course of web designing. The topic which I will cover in this lecture are HTML form and form elements. The form elements are also known as form control. So let's define what is form. Traditionally, the term form refers to a printed document that contains spaces for you to fill in information. Similarly, HTML form, which is also known as web form, is used to collect inputs from the user using form controls. Look at this figure. It is an example of HTML form. Through this form, the user enters his name and email address, as well as to specify the gender, then to submit the form for processing to the server by pressing the submit button. But to collect these inputs, the form uses several types of form control, such as for adding text we have text input control to add single line text. We have another text control for entering passwords, while to enter multi-line text we have text area control. Making choices. To make choices we are using radio button, check boxes and drop down boxes. Uploading files. While for file uploading we are using file upload or file select box. But before studying these controls in detail, let's study form structure. To define the structure of a form within HTML page, its general syntax is: this is the opening tag, while this one is the closing tag of the form element. While form controls or form elements will be here. One more thing to be noted: the form always carry an action attribute. The action attribute specify the location of the application or the script that will be used to process the form. If we include the action attribute as well, then the general syntax to declare a form will be: here for the action attribute, the value is mailing list.php. It means that after submitting the form to the server, this script will be used to process the form. Form elements also have some other attributes as well. The next slides will describe those attributes. But before going to the next slide, we have to mention one thing more, that form actually work as a container for the form elements. Frequently used form attributes. The ID attribute. The ID attribute has used to uniquely identify the form element on the page. Thus, it is not allowed to use the same ID more than one time on the same page. The method attribute. The method attributes specify how the information should be sent to the server. There are two methods used for this purpose: the post and get methods. The get method is ideal for short form such as search boxes or when you are just retrieving data from the web server, not sending information that should be added to or deleted from a database. You should use the post method if your form allows user to upload a file or it contains sensitive data, for example password, and to add information or delete information from a database. The target attribute. The target attribute specifies the target window or frame where the result of the script will be displayed. The encryption type attribute. The encryption type attribute specifies that how the browser encodes the data before submitting to the server. There are two methods used for this purpose. Application /x www form URL encoded, while multi-part /form data. Use the first method for simple text, while use the second method if your data include images or file such as MS Word file to be uploaded to the server. Autocomplete attribute. The autocomplete attribute have two possible values, on and off. When autocomplete is on, the browser automatically complete value based on values that the user has entered before. Discussing the frequently used form attributes, now it is the time to study and implement the form control. As we mentioned before, there are three types of control to accept text input. One of them is single line text input control. It is created with input tag and type attribute value will be text. The second one is password control. It is also created with input tag, but the value of type attribute will be password. The third one control for submitting text is this text area. It is used to submit multi-line text. The next slide show how to define the single line text input and password control. Here we are showing the declaration of two text input control, but due to the lack of space we are only showing the body, section and form elements. So let's first define the single line text. Input tag, so it is an unpaired tag where the type attribute has a value of text and the name attribute has a value of user ID. This is another control. WhatsApp input tag, but the value of type attribute is password, name equal to password. So these two controls also have some other attributes, as it is clear from the example that type attribute actually indicates that what type of control we want to create, while the name attribute used to give a name to the control which is sent to the server to be recognized and get the value. The value attribute is used to assign initial value for the control. Size, this attribute specify the width of the control in terms of character. The max length property specify that what's the maximum number of character a user can type within the box. Read only, it specify that the field value is read only. Here I want to show you that how to create a submit and reset buttons. A submit button is used to send the form data to a web server, while a reset button sets all the form controls to their default values. To create the submit and reset buttons, set the value of type attributes to submit and reset respectively. Look at the following codes. These codes shows that how to create the submit and reset button. The first input control is used to create the submit button. Here the value of type attribute as submit, while the second input control shows how to create the reset button, and here the value of type attribute as reset. Now I want to demonstrate that how the form and form elements will be created, and then to view the results in the browser. I have already opened a file. Name of this file is form.html. Here I want to create an HTML document. So first of all, I am defining the type of the document. So after defining the type of the document, define the HTML section of the document, and within the HTML section define the head section. Within the head section add the title element and set the title to HTML form. After the head section, add the body section and also define the h1 element. Within h1 element, type creating HTML form. Save the file and view the output of these codes in the browser. So type local host / form.html. After the h1 element, add the form. So type form. Within the form, I want to add two input elements. The first one to accept the username, while the second one to accept the password. So type username input, type text and set the name of this input element to username. And now type password. Add the input element, set its type attribute to password. . and set the value of name attribute to pass. Save the file and refresh the browser. So this is the output of these codes. Add two more elements to the form, the submit button and the reset button. So input set the value of type attribute to submit, set the value attribute to submit, add another input element, set its type attribute to reset, and value attribute to reset as well. Save the file again and refresh the browser. So type something here and type in the password field also. When you press the reset button, it will clear both the field, and when you press the submit button, it will submit the form to the server. So let's suppose we want to set the size of the first element. Suppose its size is 30. That means the width of the first input element will be 30 characters. Save the file and refresh the browser once again. So the width of the first field is greater than the second one because we have set its size attribute to 30. Suppose we want that this field accept only 10 characters, so set the max length attribute to 10. Save the file. So refresh the browser and enter value in the first field from 0 to 9. If you want to enter any other character or digit in this field, it will not accept any other digit or character because the value of max length field, max length attribute as 10, so it allows only 10 characters in this field. If you want to assign a default value for this field, set its value attribute. So set the value attribute for the first field. Default value. Save the file and refresh the browser. So the default value appeared here. If you want to enter any other value, type it here. Otherwise, when you press the reset button, so the default value will be displayed here. If you want to make this field read only, so set the read only attribute. The value of the read only attribute will be read only. Save the file and refresh the browser. Now you try to delete this value. It will not allow you to delete this value because this field is read only. So in this way you apply these different attributes such as size attribute, max length attribute, value attribute and read only attribute to other field as well if you want. So thanks for watching this video.